Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Hey everybody, that's right, we are discussing Longlegs today. Longlegs is one of my favorite horror films to come out in the last several years, and for many, many reasons. So why don't we just dive right on in to Longlegs. Here we go. Obviously, let's just start with performance-wise. Performances were incredible. Everybody that's in this movie does a fantastic job. Obviously, Nicolas Cage plays Longlegs, which he does a fabulous job playing this very weird character, as we've already seen with the cuckoo that I did from that driving scene that we just saw, which I absolutely love. I kind of quote it now when all of a sudden I'll just be, Daddy! Mommy! And I can't do it like Longlegs, but I'm not that cool. But the point is the performances are out of this world. So it kind of follows our agent, Lee Harker, and her going after this, trying to find this Longlegs, this serial killer who they can't figure out how he's doing it because he's never in the house. And, there's no proof that he's ever in their home. And so it just looks like families are killing themselves pretty much, like the dad or whatever kills his family and then kills himself. And so one of the things with her, with all the characters and this film in general, is there's always this off feeling like something is wrong. And you really get that with Lee Harker. She's just a very odd kind of duck, and her mom, that woman kills this role. She kills the role that I'm telling you. It's just absolutely incredible. If you haven't seen this movie, you really should. But who plays Ruth, Alicia Witt, and yeah, she nails the mom out of the park. And the whole time you're like, what is going on with this woman? Like, there is something seriously off with her. And then, of course, the movie unfolds and you realize just, how much the mom's part was in this whole thing. So, obviously, if you have not already watched Longlegs, I do suggest stopping, going and watching it, and then coming back. If you have watched Longlegs, you better let me know your thoughts on it. If they're different than mine, that's okay. Just don't be an asshole, all right? Okay. So Longlegs I've already watched at least 3 times. I know for sure 3 times. The first time was in the movie theaters, which at the time I was not going, which we'll get into my movie theater films that I've been checking out recently in a bit, but in a different video, not this one. But at the time I wasn't, and so for me to go to the theaters was a big deal, and I was like, I have to see this movie, and I am so glad I did. So kind of went over performances. Like I said, everybody in the film does incredible. You always just kind of feel like something's off with everyone. There's just something a little, not right happening there. And that flows through the entire movie, which is right up my alley. I love, if I'm watching a horror movie, first off, Longlegs is a bit of a slow burn. That's right up my alley. I love slow burns. They're probably my favorite type of horror film. I always call it a good mind fuck. I love my mind being all fucked up. Take it, rearrange it, make it think things, just do all these funky things with it. And that's what I want to experience. And this movie does that on all the realms. And so the atmosphere is another thing that I absolutely love. I am a sucker for anything that has that 70s, 80s, 90s aesthetic. And this film has 70s and 90s. So it either takes place in the 70s when our agent Lee Harker is a child, or in the 90s when clearly she's an adult and an agent. And so not only is, the outfits, the furniture, everything matching to that time period, but also just the grittiness of which I love. If I'm, especially so when it comes to horror movies, I don't like a super clean, if it's so just beautiful almost. I mean, I shouldn't say that because I feel Longlegs is beautiful to look at, but in that gritty vibe. If something is just so clean and, it loses to me some of its scary factor. I don't know. I need that grittiness for it to really feel like that. So this film, Longlegs, does that masterfully. I love how the demon is in it multiple times, even if you don't necessarily catch that you saw the demon. And that's intentional, just like everything with this film is. And that's one of the things that I like too. Every shot feels intentional, but not forced to me. But it has a purpose. And so many times when I'm watching films, I'm like, okay, this entire chunk of film didn't even need to be in it. But I don't have that with this one. I actually have nothing negative to say about Longlegs, and that's very rare for me. I know this film wasn't for everybody, but again, slow burns aren't for everybody, and certain, mental, trips aren't for everybody. So that's okay. But I honestly feel like Longlegs was made for me, and that is really cool because there's so many. I love horror. I can't explain to you how much. I mean, seriously, I wish you understood. I love horror. It's my favorite genre. I watch it way more than anything else, all of them combined. And I like them all. Like I said, it's not just slow burns that I enjoy. I like a good fun slasher. I can get into some jump scares. It's just personally, those aren't that scary to me. When you're just force feeding me jump scares every few minutes or whatever. Yeah, like it's like, whoa, when it happens, but the thing with a jump scare film for me is that once you've seen it once, it's kind of over. Because when those scenes are really going to be happening and they kind of lose that effect. Whereas to me, the slow burn mental, whole vibe, that you can rewatch over and over again. And you usually discover something new every time, see something new, especially in a film where there is so many intentional shots with different little things and stuff like that. So also the story, while I don't feel Longlegs is confusing in any way, I will say that there is layers to this story, and it is better when you watch it a second time around, third time around. When I watch it again will be my fourth, because I will absolutely watch this movie another 3 and then some. This is a film, like I said, that I could watch permanently throughout the rest of my life. It's not one that I see myself being like, all right, now I'm done with it. Because every time I watch it, I still feel that if you watched Longlegs and a few other ones with me, there's been a few other films and or scenes in films that get me so much that I'm pretty much just watching it with this like psychotic smile the whole time. I'm just like, this is great. I love it. So I'm sure, there'd be times you'd be with me and you're like, this girl, there's something wrong with her. But I find it so amazing when somebody can take something and just kind of perfectly put it out there for somebody to just take it all in. And so yeah, all right, I'm gonna quit rambling. Longlegs, like I said, top up there for me. If you have not watched it already and you stuck with me this whole time, go and watch it and then come back and let me know. If you've already checked out Longlegs, let me know. I'd love to hear from some fellow long leg lovers. Yeah, and as always, thanks for hanging out with me.